Well, Aristotle said that 95% of everything you do is the result of habit. So the rule is form good habits and make them your masters, rather than allowing bad habits to form. In fact, the other rule says this, is that good habits are hard to form, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to form, but hard to live with. Now, one of the turning points in my life and my studies of psychology was the discovery that all habits are learned and can be unlearned. Actually, you don't actually unlearn a habit. You simply replace a bad habit with a good habit that has more power and impact. And how do you develop a good habit? You develop a habit by repetition. Almost everything you do from the time you get up in the morning is habit. So start to think about yourself. What would be the best habits to have? Now, I have written a book called $1 Million Habits. It has 12 chapters, 12 critical areas of life. And in each chapter, there's 20 or 30 habits. So let me give you some of the best. Number one, develop the habit of daily goal setting and goal orientation. What does this mean? It means when you go to sleep at night, think about your goals for the coming day. Make a list for each day of all the goals, the little goals you're going to accomplish that day. Keep a journal and write down your goals on a regular basis. When you're driving through the day, think about your goals. When you're talking to other people, think about your goals. You see, you do become what you think about most of the time. You do achieve what you think about most of the time. So all successful people and all wealthy people think about their goals most of the time. Second of all, be results-oriented. Now, results-oriented people are always thinking of the most important things that they can do right now to achieve their most important results. Successful people make a list of everything they have to do, and before they start working, they set priorities on the list. Here's a great way to become result-oriented. Actually, it's life-changing. Ask yourself, once you have your list for the day, if I could only do one thing on this list before I was called out of town for a month, what one activity would I want to be sure to get completed? And put a circle around that and start on that activity immediately, first thing. And then discipline yourself to work nonstop until you complete that one activity. This simple technique has taken people from rags to riches all over the world for at least 100 years. Pick your most important task and start on it immediately, and then discipline yourself to stay with it until it's complete. Another habit that you can establish is to become people-oriented. Recognize that everything that you achieve in life is going to be with the help or support or cooperation of other people. So always think, what is it that other people want and need from me? How can I help other people so they'll want to help me back? If you're in sales, top salespeople think about their customers all the time. They think about who their customers are and what their customers want and how they can help them the most and how they can help them even more today. In their relationships, successful people are very focused on the most important people in their worlds, both personal and in business. Another habit you can have is to stay health-oriented. Think about your health most of the time. Think about eating less food and better food. Think about daily exercise. Think about getting lots of rest. Remember, to be successful in our competitive world, you need a lot of energy. To have a lot of energy, you've got to eat good foods, get lots of rest, and exercise all the time. One of the most important habits is that of character and honesty, is always tell the truth no matter what the price. And the final characteristic, the final habit, is that of self-discipline. And I have written and spoken upon this for years and years and years, but self-discipline seems to be the foundation habit that makes everything else possible. And the best definition of self-discipline is that self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. You see, anybody can do it if they feel like it. It's when you don't feel like it and you do it anyway that you eventually develop the self-discipline that makes everything else possible. Remember, a positive personality will have more of an impact on your success and happiness than perhaps any other factor. Now, your physical diet has a large impact on your levels of health and energy. If you eat fresh, healthy, high-quality foods of all kinds and avoid the foods that are bad for you, you'll have more energy, be generally resistant to most diseases, sleep better, and feel healthier and happier. In the same way, your mental diet largely determines your character and your personality and almost everything that happens to you in life. When you feed your mind with positive ideas and information and books and conversations with positive people and audio programs, preferably Brian Tracy audio programs, and positive thoughts, you develop a more positive and constructive personality. You become more influential and persuasive. You enjoy greater self-confidence and self-esteem. Those people who work with computers use the expression GIGO, or garbage in, garbage out. But the reverse is also true. Good in, good out. When you make a clear, unequivocal decision that you are going to take complete control over your mind, eliminate the negative emotions and thoughts that may have held you back in the past, and become a completely positive person, you can actually bring about your own personal transformation. Your job is to be the best you can be. Now, mental fitness is like physical fitness. You develop high levels of self-esteem and a positive mental attitude with training and practice. Here are the 7 keys I promised you to becoming a completely positive person. Number 1 is positive self-talk. Speak to yourself positively. Control your inner dialogue. Use affirmations, positive statements phrased in the positive present and personal tense. My favorites are, I like myself. I like myself. I can do it. I can do it. I feel terrific. I am responsible. This is how top people think most of the time. Now, psychologists say that fully 95% of your emotions are determined by the way you talk to yourself as you go through your day. This is called your inner dialogue. It's the stream of words and thoughts and feelings that course through your day like a river going through your mind. The sad fact is that if you do not deliberately and consciously talk to yourself in a positive and constructive way, you will, by default, think about things that will make you unhappy or cause you worry and anxiety. Remember, your mind is like a vacuum. It will not remain empty. If you don't fill it with positive thoughts, it will fill with negative thoughts. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your mind is like a garden. If you do not deliberately plant flowers and tend them carefully, weeds will grow without any encouragement at all. If you don't think positive thoughts and can take good care of them, negative thoughts will grow in your mental garden without any effort on your part. The second key is positive visualization. Now, perhaps the most powerful ability that you have is the ability to visualize and to see your goals as already accomplished. See your life as ideal in every way. The way you do this is you create a clear, exciting picture of your goal and your ideal life and replay this picture on the screen of your mind over and over again. The rule is that all improvement in your outer life begins with an improvement in your mental pictures. And you completely control the pictures that you play on the screen of your mind. As you see yourself on the inside, you will start to be that person with those accomplishments on the outside. The third key is positive people. Your choice of the people with whom you live and work and associate will have more of an impact on your emotions and your success than any other factor. Why? It's because they control your self-talk and your mental pictures. So decide today to associate with winners, with positive people, with people who are happy and optimistic and who are going somewhere with their lives. On the other hand, avoid negative people at all costs. Negative people are the primary source of most of life's unhappiness. So resolve that from today onward you are not going to have stressful or negative people in your life. That one decision alone can transform your thinking. The fourth key is positive mental food. Just as your body is healthy to the degree to which you eat healthy, nutritious foods, your mind is healthy to the degree to which you feed it with mental protein rather than mental candy. Read books, magazines, and articles that are educational, inspirational, or motivational. Feed your mind with information and ideas that are uplifting and that make you feel happy and more confident about yourself and your world. Listen to positive, constructive CDs and audio programs in your car and on your MP3 player or iPod. Feed your mind continually with positive messages that help you think and act better and make you more capable and competent in your field. Watch positive and educational DVDs, educational television programs, online courses, and other uplifting, enriching material that increases your knowledge and makes you feel good about yourself and your life. Did you know that every time you learn something new that you feel can help improve your life, your brain releases endorphins, which are called nature's happy drug, and you actually feel happier? Even before you take action on a new piece of idea, you feel happier that you have learned a new idea in the first place. Now, the fifth key is positive training and development. This is what I love. Almost everyone in our society starts off with limited resources, sometimes with no money at all. Virtually all fortunes begin with the sale of personal services of some kind. All the people who are at the top today were once at the bottom, and sometimes they fell to the bottom several times in their journey through life. The miracle of lifelong learning and personal improvement is what it takes to get you from rags to riches, from poverty to affluence, and from underachievement to success and financial independence. As Jim Rohn said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. When you dedicate yourself to learning and growing and becoming better and more effective in your thoughts and actions, you take complete control of your life and dramatically increase the speed at which you move upward to greater heights. Now, the sixth key is positive health habits. Take excellent care of your physical health. Resolve today that you're going to live to be 80 or 90 or 100 years old and still be dancing in the evenings. The way you do this is you eat excellent foods, healthy and nutritious, and you eat them sparingly and in proper balance. An excellent diet will have an immediate positive effect on your thoughts and feelings. Resolve to get regular exercise, at least 200 minutes of motion per week. That's 30 minutes per day of walking, running, swimming, bicycling, or working out on equipment in the gym. When you exercise on a regular basis, you feel happier and healthier and experience lower levels of stress and fatigue than a person who sits on the couch and watches television all evening. Especially in this busy world, get ample rest and relaxation. You need to recharge your batteries on a regular basis, especially when you're going through periods of stress or difficulty. Vince Lombardi once said, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." Some of the factors that predispose us to negative emotions of all kinds are poor health habits, fatigue, lack of exercise, and nonstop work without rest. Seek balance in your life. Now, the seventh key is positive expectations. Having positive expectations is one of the most powerful techniques you can use to become a positive person and to ensure positive outcomes and better results in your life. Your expectations become your own self-fulfilling prophecies. Whatever you expect with confidence seems to come into your life. Since you can control your expectations, you should always expect the best. Expect to be successful. Expect to be popular when you meet new people. Expect to achieve great goals and create a wonderful life for yourself. When you constantly expect good things to happen, you will seldom be disappointed. Criticism, even if it's constructive, can sometimes sting. If you've poured time, effort, or money into something, and it can be tough to hear someone point out its flaws. However, constructive criticism is also incredibly valuable, enabling you to hone whatever it is you are working on and improve it for the better. The next time you receive constructive criticism or helpful feedback, as they call it, about something that you have grown close to, keep these tips in mind to make the most of it instead of letting it get you down or make you angry for any reason. First, look past your initial reaction. No matter how good you get at accepting constructive criticism, it's almost always going to hurt at first. Human beings hate criticism more than anything else. Many people get bogged down in this initial reaction, growing more offended the more they focus on the criticism they received and becoming defensive rather than using the criticism as an opportunity to improve. It's okay to be a little hurt when you first receive constructive criticism. Just make sure you quickly move past that initial reaction and begin approaching the criticism in a sincere and beneficial manner so that you can learn and grow from it rather than just becoming angry. Second, ask questions about how you can improve. When somebody gives you constructive criticism, you should be quick to ask them how they think you can improve. Most of the time, if a person's critiques are valid, then they may already have an idea in mind for how you can address them. However, they may not share it with you unless you ask. So be sure to delve deeper into a person's criticism or negative opinion, asking them to clarify and for other suggestions. When they do clarify, listen intently and take their suggestions to heart. They may not always be valuable to you, but many times they will be. Many people's lives have been changed over the years by one piece of feedback that set them in a different direction. Third, thank them for their feedback. Although it may be difficult, it's important to be grateful for constructive criticism. After all, it can be incredibly valuable and can save you from costly pitfalls down the road. Part of the process of being grateful for constructive criticism, though, is to voice your gratitude. For one, thanking a person for their feedback will go a long way to helping you accept it and make the most of it. When you say thank you for your comment, you go completely neutral. You're not angry, you're not upset, you're not anything. Thank you is a wonderful word, or words. In addition to this, though, you will show the person that you truly appreciate their input, which will make them more likely to further help you later on. The truth is that most people are hesitant to offer feedback in the form of constructive criticism, even if they see something that you can change dramatically and improve, because they recognize that it opens them up to criticism as well. If you show, though, that you are gracious in the face of criticism and even appreciate it, chances are they will continue to be honest with you in the future. And honesty is invaluable. Fourth, distinguish between useful criticism and useless criticism. It's a sad reality that there will always be people who criticize just for the sake of criticizing. They come from negative backgrounds, negative families, negative experiences, and so they're always looking for something that is not correct. No matter how good your work is, these people will find flaws where flaws do not really exist and gleefully point them out. This type of criticism is not the same as constructive criticism, and it offers little value. If you're certain that a person's criticisms are unfounded, smile, thank them, and move on. With that said, it's essential that you do not fall prey to the temptation of seeing all criticism as unfounded. The truth is that most criticism you receive will be genuine and well-meaning. Determining the difference between constructive criticism and useless criticism takes a lot of honest introspection and analysis and involves putting your emotions and your attachments aside. What is the philosophy of Buddhism? It is detachment, which is standing back from what is happening around you and not becoming emotionally involved. This works really well for any kind of negative feedback or criticism. If you can do it, though, and be honest in the process, then it's well worth the effort. Now, fifth, ask for time to address their concerns. After a person has pointed out a flaw in your work or your results, you have taken the time to ask them any questions that they may have, and you have thanked them for their feedback. Now, ask them for time to address their concerns and schedule a time where you can present them with your revised edition. For one, doing this will help further cement the fact that you truly value their feedback and are taking their concerns to heart. It will also give you the opportunity to go back and analyze your work and make the necessary improvements and present it to them a second time. This time they may be completely satisfied with it, or they may offer further feedback. Either way, you'll be prepared to do what it takes to deliver the best possible finished result. Now, let me give you a story of mine, and it was with regard to professional speaking. I met a man some years ago who was very, very skilled at directing stage plays, and he directed every single player on every single stage play, and he offered to give me some feedback, mostly constructive or destructive feedback on my speaking. And I hired him and I paid him an enormous amount of money over a period of 10 years. And the criticism that I got from him on how to improve my speaking was the most priceless feedback I had in my entire life. It made me one of the most successful speakers in the world, because every single week we would take a couple of hours and I would speak and he would critique me, and I would speak and he would critique me. After 10 years, people were saying that your speaking style is astonishing. So be open to feedback because it may change your life. Now, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. Dedicate yourself to continuous improvement. You are your most precious resource. Annie from Facebook recently asked me, how do you structure your day? So here are some tips to help you structure your day to be more productive and successful. Number one, every minute spent in planning saves 10 minutes in execution or getting the job done. So the most important thing you can do is plan your day, preferably the night before. Sit down with a piece of paper and write down everything that you have to do the coming day. It should be the last thing you do at the end of the day. Now, if for any reason you don't do this, then the first thing you do in the morning, before you check your email, your phone calls, newspapers, first thing you do in the morning is make a list of everything that you have to do that day. Once you have a list, you have a track to run on. Writing down a list clarifies your thinking. Writing down a list forces you to think at a higher level. If you start working from a list, you increase your productivity and output by 25% the first day. All successful people work from lists, and all successful people, with regard to their projects, work from checklists. A checklist is a list of everything organized in sequence, and you go down the checklist. Now, the second way that you can organize your day is to set priorities on your list before you begin. Don't just rush into it. Look over the list and apply the 80-20 rule. If you have 10 items to do on your list, 2 will be more valuable than the other 8 put together. Sometimes it's the 90-10 rule. If you have 10 items on your list, 1 will be more important than all the others put together. Go down your list and ask yourself this question. If I could only do one thing on this list before I was called out of town for a month, what one task would I want to be sure to complete? Now, in my life, I'm called out of town for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes a month, all the time. Last fall, I was out of town and traveling in 15 countries over 36 days. So I have to look at my work list before I go, and I have to get my most important tasks done. So once you identify this task, this leads to the next way to organize your day, is begin immediately on your most important task, and then stay with it until it's complete. All of success in life comes from project completion. It comes from taking jobs, and a project is called a multi-task job. It means there's several little jobs within the larger job. And what you do is you organize your projects by sequence, the checklist, and then you start on your most important project, and then you stay with that project until it's complete. This process is called single handling. It's the most powerful success strategy that you can use in managing your time. You can actually increase your productivity by 50% by simply starting and completing your most important task first thing every day. So if you can do those 3 things, start with a list, organize the list by priority, and then start on and complete your most important task, you can double and triple your productivity, sometimes almost overnight.